Condensation fogged the glass, water droplets tracing winding paths down the surface, outlining two heated figures. Lin Yang's pale, plump shoulder flushed red as it pressed against the cold glass, her limbs going weak as she slid down. The man behind her caught her waist with a firm arm, lifting her, his solid forearm braced beside her head. Water dripped down the muscles of his back, disappearing into the lean cut of his waist. The temperature in the bathroom climbed, the air thick with an ambiguous, smoldering heat. She pleaded helplessly, her cheerful voice laced with broken tremors. "Please, can't we stop?" Before she could finish, the man cupped her delicate face, leaning close to swallow her protest. A few hours earlier, Lin Yang was sitting in her office cubicle, staring at the dense spreadsheets on her computer screen, a headache splitting her skull. As the special assistant to Suning Yao, CEO of the Su Group, she was used to a relentless work pace. But recently, Miss Su had been in low spirits over a failed romance, dragging her assistant along for the ride, leaving Lin Yang practically on call 24/7. Unable to stand it, her boss, the young Miss Su, dragged her to a high-minus-10 club to unwind. Yang, you're always so tightly wound. Life is short. You have to seize the moment, understand? Suning Yao swayed her champagne glass, her gaze hazy as she watched the writhing crowd on the dance floor. My treat tonight, just relax. Suning Yao waved a slender hand and ordered a line of male models. The lights were dim, the music deafening. After a few drinks, Lin Yang's cheeks were already flushed. She wanted to refuse, but under Suning Yao's insistent gaze and the teasing of the other girls, she finally, half-heartedly took a seat. Later, she drank too much. Dizzy and egged on, she took a male model to a hotel. Acting on professional instinct, she first escorted Miss Su and the male model accompanying her to their suite. Only after watching her friend being helped into the room by the model did she breathe a small sigh of relief. After that, she pressed her own room key into the other model's hand, telling him to go to the room first, while she stumbled to the hallway restroom to sober up. The alcohol's delayed effect hit hard, her stomach churning. She splashed cold water on her face, trying to clear her head. Her plan was to wait out the buzz, then go back to the room, send the model away and sleep it off at the hotel. After all, there was an important meeting to prepare for tomorrow. But she lingered in the restroom for a long time, the dizziness and disorientation not subsiding. The reflection in the mirror showed unfocused eyes, smudged makeup a picture of utter disarray. Finally, exhaustion overwhelmed her, and she leaned against the wall, inching her way back to the room. She remembered the model opening the door for her. His face was blurred under the dim hallway lights, but she recalled sharp features and a high-nose bridge. Later, how she ended up tumbling into bed with him was a blur. The alcohol numbed her nerves and blurred her memory. The memories that followed were only of the man's scorching body heat, his searing breath, and flashes of white light, one more intense than the last. She cried, she begged, fading in and out of consciousness. Each time she thought she'd reached her limit, the man, like an insatiable beast, pushed her to the peak again, only to let her fall heavily. Just before she lost consciousness for the last time, the man was still tirelessly at it, until her strength was completely spent. Li Yanchuan tightened his arm. The girl in his embrace was soft as water, pressed tightly against him, her head nestled in the crook of his shoulder, breathing even unsteady, seemingly deep asleep. It was this utterly dependent, delicate appearance that shattered the self-control he had maintained for over 20 years. He looked down, his gaze falling on the ambiguous red marks on the pale skin of her neck. His Adam's apple moved unconsciously. His fingertip lightly brushed the delicate skin, eliciting a faint shiver. Even he was surprised. How had he lost control to this extent with a strange woman of unknown origin who had thrown herself at him? He'd shown no restraint, like a hot-headed youth with no self-discipline. Earlier that night, he'd been entertaining foreign clients at the hotel, After several rounds of drinks, the old affliction of his headaches flared violently, a pain like a dull knife sawing through flesh, spreading from his temples to the back of his skull. He forced himself back to the penthouse suite, sitting on the sofa massaging his aching forehead. The painkillers his assistant had brought sat untouched on the coffee table, the packaging unopened. Just as his consciousness was beginning to blur, the room door was swiped open. He looked up to see a slender figure staggering in, carrying a faint scent of alcohol and an indescribable sweet fragrance. He thought it was someone arranged by his assistant, or perhaps someone who had the wrong room. He was about to tell her to leave when the girl stumbled and threw herself forward. Her soft body collided with his, bringing a trace of coolness that oddly soothed the throbbing in his head. "Don't go," he murmured, her words slurred, thick with a nasal tone. Li Yang stiffened. He had never been one for casual affairs and was even more wary of women who threw themselves at him. But when her warm breath and his neck, and her wine-scented lips accidentally brushed his Adam's apple, he felt a dark heat surge from his abdomen, instantly burning through his entire body. Reason became fragile in that moment. He didn't remember how he picked her up and carried her to the bedroom, nor who initiated the first kiss. He only remembered that the moment her skin touched his, all restraint vanished. Now, looking at the sleeping girl in his arms, a complex emotion rose in Li Yanquan's heart. Regret, remorse. Both seemed present, but more than that was an indescribable sense of satisfaction. He gently laid Lin Yang on the bed, pulling the covers over her exposed shoulders. Then he got up, picked his shirt off the floor and put it on. Walking to the window, he pulled back a corner of the heavy curtain. Outside, the sky was turning gray with dawn, the city slowly waking. Li Yanquan lit a cigarette, took a deep drag. The acrid smoke swirled in his lungs before he slowly exhaled. The nicotine momentarily eased the residual headache and cleared his thoughts a little. Who was this woman? He picked up his phone from the nightstand and dialed his assistant. Find out about the woman who checked into room 1808 last night. His voice was low and hoarse, carrying a languid note from a night of indulgence. Understood, Mr. Lee. The assistant's voice came through immediately, a note of surprise detectable but quickly replaced by professionalism. One moment, please. A few minutes later, a detailed file arrived. Li Yanquan opened the email, his eyes falling on the photo on the screen. The girl in the picture wore a sharp business suit, a faint smile on her face, her eyes clear and bright. Lin Yang, 25, special assistant to Su Ningyao, CEO of the Su Group. So, she was someone close to Su Ningyao. He recalled vaguely seeing Su Ningyao at the club last night. It seemed she had brought her assistant out to play. He just hadn't expected this kind of intersection. Just then, Lin Yang on the bed stirred, letting out a soft moan. Li Yanquan ended the call and turned to look at the bedside. Lin Yang slowly opened her eyes, her vision still blurry. The crystal chandelier on the ceiling was a bit dazzling. She instinctively raised a hand to shield her eyes. My head hurts. That was her first coherent thought upon regaining consciousness. Her whole body felt as if it had been taken apart, especially her waist and legs, so sore and weak she could barely lift them. With effort, she turned her head and saw a tall man standing by the bed backlit, his expression unclear. Awake, the man's voice was deep and magnetic, carrying a barely perceptible huskiness. Lin Yang sat up abruptly. The cover slipped, revealing large expanses of pale skin and the mottled marks upon it. She stared at the man in horror, her mind a blank. Who was he? Why was he here? Last night? What happened? Fragments of memory flooded back, yet remained indistinct. Dim lights, a burning embrace, fierce kisses, and those blush-inducing images. A short cry escaped her. She quickly yanked the covers around herself, scrambling to the headboard, watching him warily. Who are you? Why am I here? Li Yanquan looked at her, frightened as a young deer, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. That's what I should be asking you, Miss Lin. You were the one who used the key card to come in. Lin Yang? He knew her name? Lin Yang was even more confused. She tried hard to recall the events of the night, but only remembered that she seemed to have gone to the wrong room. And then nothing. I don't remember. Her voice held a tremor, her eyes slightly reddening. I drank too much last night. So drinking too much gives you the right to barge into someone else's room and Li Yanchuan paused, his gaze sweeping over her meaningfully. Do those things? Lin Yang's face flushed crimson instantly. She lowered her head, not daring to look at him. Even if her memory was fuzzy, the sensations in her body didn't lie. That feeling of being filth, of being plundered, was terrifyingly real. I'm sorry, she whispered, her voice as faint as a mosquito's hum. I didn't mean to. I'll make it up to you. Make it up? Li Yanchuan raised an eyebrow, seemingly intrigued by the word. And how does Miss Lin plan to do that? Lin Yang bit her lip, looked up, and mustered her courage to meet his gaze. How much money do you need? I can give it to you. Li Yanchuan let out a soft chuckle, as if he'd heard something amusing. Money? Miss Lin thinks I lack money? Lin Yang was stunned. Right. This was the presidential suite of a top-tier hotel. Someone who stayed here wouldn't lack for money. Then, what do you want? She asked, bewildered. Li Yanchuan didn't answer immediately. He walked to the bedside and sat down, reaching out to lift her chin, forcing her to meet his eyes. His fingers were cool, the touch on her skin sending a shiver through her. Miss Lin. He leaned closer, his warm breath fanning her face. Some things can't be settled with money. Lin Yang's heart hammered wildly. She didn't know what he wanted, only that this man was dangerous, yet somehow compelling. Then, what do you want? She asked again, a note of panic in her voice. Li Yanchuan looked at her deeply for a moment, then released her chin and stood up. This matter ends here, he said flatly. Consider it an accident. Lin Yang was taken aback, seemingly unable to believe he was letting her off so easily. However, he continued, his tone shifting, Miss Lin should be more careful in the future. Don't just go back to a hotel with a stranger. With that, he stopped looking at her and walked straight into the bathroom. Lin Yang sat on the bed in a daze, her mind a tangled mess. Ends here? Was it really that simple? She looked down at the ambiguous marks on her body, a tumult of emotions in her heart. Just then, her phone rang. It was Suning Yao. Yan, where are you? I've been worried sick. Suning Yao's anxious voice came through the line. I woke up and you were gone, and you weren't answering your phone. Yao, I'm at the hotel. Lin Yang tried to keep her voice normal. I'm fine, just not feeling well. Which hotel? I'll come find you. No need, Yao. I'll be right back. Lin Yang said hurriedly. Wait for me. Hanging up, Lin Yang took a deep breath, forcing herself to calm down. This wasn't the time to dwell on things. She needed to get out of here, fast. She climbed out of bed, enduring the ache all over, found her clothes, and put them on. Passing the bathroom door, she heard the sound of running water inside. He paused for a second, then quickened her pace and left the room. The moment the door closed, the water in the bathroom stopped. Li Yanchuan walked out, a towel wrapped around his waist, and saw the empty room. A meaningful smile played on his lips. He walked to the window, watching the figure scurrying away below, and took out his phone, dialing his assistant again. Order a bouquet of flowers for me, to be delivered to the Sioux group. The recipient is Lin Yang, he said. On the card write, last night was very enjoyable. Hanging up, he lit another cigarette. Watching the smoke curl upwards, his eyes deepened inscrutable. This game was only just beginning.